And I'm the founder. And partner at Luckboosters at the same time. Unfortunately, this row she pulled out. She had some personal business, which is in the end better for us because we can bond better, which for that one, and we can also discuss ABM, the math of ABM in more detail. So in fact, I did my homework and I've just finished. I've just finished my homework. I went through a case study, which I'm going to present to you in a second, where I have a case which is pretty much about the numbers, and it shows the numbers of ABM, the exact topic that I was going to discuss with Ro. Just give me a second. I'll pull up my presentation. I want to be sure that I'm in the event and I can see your comments. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I want to see some of your questions. I might miss some of your questions, so please bear with me. So every 10 minutes or so, I'm going to try to look into any comments you guys have, okay? All right, cool. All right, I'm going to be sharing my screen now. Let's go. Okay. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. And give me a sec. Present full screen. Okay, so let's go to the first slide. In a second, we'll be there. Okay, so we're going to talk about. It's going to be a talk for operators with a lot of details, a lot of very, very specific details. We're going to discuss the math of ABM from first signal to deal. Let's go without further. This is not an ABM 101 talk, so people who don't know much about ABM, this is going to be quite heavy on metrics and stuff. We want to talk about here's the funnel, here's the persona, use intent data, use signals, personalization matters. We won't touch any of that at all. This is like a talk for more advanced practice. People who know ABM by operating it. We're going to talk about real ratios, real leaks, two programs that have run for different regions and same lessons learned, different shapes. We're going to talk about the template change I did, the service level agreement that changed the ratio moving inside the accounts in 7 days. What happens in 7 days? This quarter, we're going to discuss about what can you do this quarter, discovery framework, second meeting gate, active focus pruning. So you want to cut all the accounts that do not fit your criteria. Number 3 is ABM as an operating system, or GTM, AI GTM plus ABM as an operating system. Not a campaign, a weekly read can run forever, marketing and sales hand in hand, where you sort of like go together through accounts and you move them through the engagement levers, right? Most ABM programs do not fail because of bad messaging. They fail because nobody tracks the math. Let it sink in. Most ABM programs do not fail because of bad messaging. They fail because nobody tracks the math behind it. Team that lose the quarter all sound like the same. We're being more personal, we launch new content, engagement is up, impressions are up, connections requests are going out, but pipeline is flat, so it shows no results. What you have to understand is that activity does not mean pipeline. Activity might mean pipeline in the future if you have a long sales cycle, but activity does not mean pipeline if you're on things, right? Activity is what you do, plan is what it produces, right? So overcome, we want to be overcome focused, right? So activity is not pipeline. Awareness does not mean conversation. Conversation does not mean opportunity. Opportunity does not mean revenue. If you don't know the ratio, if you don't know these metrics, then doing more will not help you if you're doing the wrong things. Like digging louder deeper will not help you if you're digging a hole, right? So two kinds of numbers: vanity numbers and revenue-focused numbers. Okay, I think salespeople should sit on this one and then actually, slap all those marketers who don't want to talk about revenue-loaded numbers. Vanity numbers: impressions, followers, connection requests, and content produced, likes and comments, open rates. Open rates sounds good on paper, not that great in practice. Okay. Revenue, let's say marketing, or there is such a category as revenue marketing, or something that sales would look into, something that actually have some revenue in them, right? Some KPIs. Accounts in active focus. How many accounts do we have in active focus? How many are in the pipeline, right? So how many of them are targetable? How many are serviceable, right? So your target addressable market and your serviceable addressable markets. How many are active focus? How many are you nurturing today? Conversation block. How many of those people and what's their decision making level have you spoken to in that company you're targeting? Opportunities qualified. So you've spoken maybe to 10 people in let's say in Microsoft. Were you able to qualify the opportunity based on those discussions, or you need more? Pipeline created. Have you created the pipeline actually, right? Or it was just nice talk? It's about the skill. Actually, this one is about the skill, the sales, the skill of the salesperson. Does he or she or them able to create, to identify if there is going to be an opportunity there or not? So this is where you need a salesperson with gray hair. Ergo my post before. That's why you need experience. Close one, right? So these are close one opportunities. Cycle time. So by cycle time, I mean the time it takes you to close a lead, an opportunity. Can you show me the ratio of this activity number feeds? So if you cannot answer this question, it is a decoration. So activity, ideally, any activity you do in previous slide, right? Impressions, followers, they should ideally lean into, there should be a conversion rate in between these vanity decorative numbers, which you're going to get anyway, marketings, and your revenue. So there should be like somewhat you have to take from the one into the other one. Stop drawing the funnel as a handoff, draw it as the accounts journey. So the old pictures, like marketing gives leads to sales, handoff, conveyor belt, the T model, how Ford used to build his cars. Now everyone is responsible, how I see marketing and sales working together. Everyone is responsible for the journey together. By that I mean that an account becomes, like, let's go to the stages: cold, no engagement; warm, slighter engagement; conversation, good engagement; qualified, very good engagement, right? And then negotiation, qualification, negotiation, when you're already discussing some details, and then closed one or lost, depending. So the funnel is not a handoff between marketing and sales. It's actually an account journey where marketing is responsible for negotiation, maybe in a smaller quantity, in a smaller aspect, but is as responsible for negotiation as is sales, right? So probably I would say marketing is more involved on cold, warm, and conversation on this stage, but they're still responsible. But they're more responsible there than on qualifying and negotiation, but they're still responsible. So you have to follow through the journey, through the life cycle marketing journey, right? So if you look at the cold level, so your first SCP, there is zero engagement. So when you look at the entries, it's a regional vertical stack, like, so it has to fit your ICP. Forward motion, like awareness place, from cold to warm, you usually marketers play some content, some ads, comments, executive points of view on LinkedIn. Anything else can be added here. Where this motion dies is when the ICP filter is too broad. You hit up people who will never buy. ICP has to be very, very lean, a lean process, like manufacturing. And sales should be involved in this, because sales knows very, very well who will buy. Sales should be very involved in this when you do the account selection. Warm. So the entry into the warm level is content consumed, post engaged, event sign up if there is an event, profile visit, LinkedIn profile visit, or anything else, reply. Then the forward motion, personalized connection request, comment on their post, your comment on their post, or their comment on your post, love letter, personal invite. Where this thing dies is that when you have to, when you're waiting to raise a hand and then talk to them instead of like asking for the conversation. This is a more proactive motion, although still, I would say, majorly managed by marketing. Conversation, the biggest leak in the funnel, and it's a two-way exchange. This is where leads actually get lost, because it sounds like conversation is the typical handoff between marketing and sales, and this is where usually most of this dies, because it's a conversation, and we want to. It's usually where in the history. Usually, this is where the handoff happened. When the conversation started, sales would say, "Oh, give me the lead, I'll take them in." And then, let's say, in 2 months, you ask, "So what happened to this lead?" "Oh, they dropped the ball at some point, so I forgot them. I deprioritized them." Okay, I mean, that's cool, but like in that case, you should hand them off back to marketing. So marketing has to be on all the time, always green. Okay, what does the entry look like? So a reply to a DM, a booked intro, a discovery call scheduled, in case it's a conversation, there is like some real intent. Forward motion. It could be a direct task for a meeting, love letter with a specific call to action, warm intro from a champion within the organization. This die. Replies that never get a calendar link to book a meeting. No service level agreement on responding. They haven't answered in 2 weeks, so sales drops them without telling marketing that, hey, this guy is dropped. So this person or company needs to get back to the engagement part. Okay. So in the qualified opportunity part, so the pain is named, process is known, and the next steps are agreed. A call that what often happens is that nobody agreed to a call, but it keeps on being warm. Sales is like they're warmish, and there is kind of a conversation, but it's not an opportunity. Not, if people don't show up to the call, you cannot buy them, right? And entry, a stated need, budget signal, decision process, next meeting with a named stakeholder. Exact. Forward motion, discovery work. Mid, peak, light, right? So we go by the acronym, so we understand that there is a budget, there is a decision makers, there is an opportunity there. So this helps us qualify. Buying committee map, so DMU mapping, that's super important. And then the value hypothesis you have is also mapped and documented. Where it dies, when there is a polite nod, yeah, okay, yeah, next week, next quarter, whatever. No commitment to the next step, and keeps on lingering. It's single-threaded. It's like you and them. There is no forward motion from their side, right? Although you need to push all the time. Again, sales. You need to make sure that there is some engagement from them as well. It's not a one-way street, because then it's gonna end. It's gonna end very unpleasantly when you put too much hope in it. Give me a second. I want to check if there are any comments. Sorry, guys, for those who are looking at this. Give me a second. chat. Okay, cool. I'm gonna please post a comment or a question if you have any. Okay, so let me see, maybe there's any questions. Are there any questions here? Let me refresh. I'll get back to you guys in just a second. Okay, no comments. Okay, cool. Let's continue then. Assigned logged entry. Negotiation we discussed. So pattern. So if there is an entry, committed, they're committed. Clean handoff to customer success. Pattern documents for the next cold cohort, right? So you have your document the whole thing to the next segment of buyers. Where it dies, when you do no post-mortem, you never learn why you buy, why you won. You don't debrief it, and that is the lowest hanging fruit there. You don't know why you won, and as a result, it could be nepotism. It could be that there's no objective factors to know if you're why you're winning, right? So in that case, you want to know that, and in order to know that, you have to do a postmortem. Okay, so 6 stages and then 5 ratios per program. So from cold to warm, you look at the awareness ratio. From warm to conversation, you look at the conversation ratio. From conversation to qualified opportunity, you look at the qualification ratio. So how many qualifications have you got from your conversation? Qualified up to negotiation, advanced ratio, right? And then negotiation to close to win rate, right? Everything should have a dashboard that looks like this: ratios between stages, by segment, by rep, by region. This way, you know where you are at with these different stages, and what can you do in terms of like marketing programs to improve the conversion from one stage to another. Three ratios, everything else supports them. So account to conversation ratio of accounts engaged with you. How many are in a two-way exchange, right? So how many need so much pull, so much push that there is no pull from them? Ideally, there should be 50-50, or there should be slightly more push, but they have to pull as well. Conversation to qualified opportunity. How many conversations end with pain, process, and the second meeting book, right? So you will know that this conversation is going somewhere, right? Not just like blah blah blah. They're using you as the company's psychologist, like putting things on your shoulders. This does not work. Pipeline to close deals. This is I would say the master of sales mostly, but not excluded. Anyway, unqualified pipeline. How many deals can you close from the qualified pipeline you brought in? Account to conversation. What it measures, right? So of accounts you've engaged, how many are in exchange, right? If you name that, if the percentage is around 40 to 55%, then the numbers are good. Broken. If it's 25%, the account to conversation ratio, you're doing something wrong. Common failure mode, why this fails, is that you have generic outbound, no triggers, no signals, no reason to reply. So there's something wrong there. You gotta work it out. Conversation to qualified opportunity, what it measures, right? How many of your conversations end up with a decision process, an exact pain you're actually solving, and then a second meeting booked? So a good rate, again, is anywhere between 35-50%, half of it. Below 25%, and we're already talking failure here. Discovery that feels like a demo. If it has to be discovery, so consulting first of all, value first. There is no framework in terms of sales. There is no exit criteria. Where B2B teams leak the most, that's 35% plus, right? Of your failure, or where leads fall in, is that they don't have a good conversation to qualify the opportunity ratio. This is the typical handoff between sales and marketing in the past. Pipeline to close deal for complex B2B, according to data, is anywhere from 25 to 35%. So if you're doing below 15%, then your qualification you would need to review your qualification. Something is not right. What it measures? Win rate on qualified pipeline. So if you qualified way too many prospects, then you need to make your ICP tighter. You need to disqualify more. It shows me if this rate is high. It shows me that the salesperson, if they qualified way too many accounts, they're either too ambitious and then they don't know who is going to buy, who's a better ICP, or they're or they're they really don't know the product and the market, so choose yours. 25-35 again, a good ratio for B2B. Broken below 15%. Problem failure, right? Why does it fail? There are single threaded deals, no economic buyer, no mutual close plan, nothing like that. We're gonna go through different programs, 2 ABM programs, different regions. Program A, focused single region, okay? 27 cluster recipes, 27 accounts, 10-15 accounts in the future pipeline, 5 active focus accounts at any given week, high touch cadence, discipline team, okay? Program B, 155 named target accounts. Woo, we're having a party, right? A lot of accounts here. 7 regions, at 1,100 serviceable accounts, right? Regional teams, mixed discipline, So rather, place your bets. Would you rather go narrow and deep or wide and operational? Let's go. Pilot A, from 73 connects, around 12% replies, event sign-ups 12, discovered book 6, one sales opportunity. So biggest leak happened in the reply, from the reply to discovery. 70 people said yes, 64 never got on call. Should have been followed up on a better basis, and included into lifecycle marketing. But it was a good program whatsoever. We're just gonna get back to it in some. And in this one, 3 ratios we had, and 2 were broken. So the request to reply was 12.2%. So good, half it up a funnel. Reply to discover, single biggest leak. So 8.6% means broken, right? 16.7 thin, weak discovery or wrong ICP. This is what it matters. So look into reply to discovery opportunity rates, right? Look into the numbers. Okay, so let's look into this. 159 named accounts. That's program B. 155 named accounts, 7 regions, 6 are off track. 6 regions. Every region has its own team, similar cadence. Every region has, and they have the same 3 ratios: awareness, conversation, account to pipe. Only 1 region hits all of them. 6 do not. 7 playbook, 7 different failure modes. Interesting. So region 1, you see the numbers. Region 2, 38 target accounts, 60% awareness, 2% conversation rate, pipe. 44, 31, last one. Let's focus on the one which stands out a lot. So 23 accounts, 70% awareness rate. So a really pretty high awareness rate. Conversation 43%. Okay, could be better. But the conversation to pipe it's really good. It's 70%, which shows us that out of the work was done really well, and we really selected the accounts which are the best for us. Let's go to the next one. Low conversion, region 4, 18 target accounts, awareness 57%. Well, let's say average. Conversation 17%. This shows something about, so it falls in between awareness and conversation, right? We need to see we need first to increase the awareness. First, second is probably they're not interested in talking to us. We need to figure out why. Aren't we that strong in this market, or they don't need us? That's a question. Chatty region 5, Chatty region. 27 accounts, 59 awareness rate, 52 conversation rate, pretty good. But the pipe is 22%. They like to talk, but it's very hard to close. Usually Spain, Italy, Greece, Bosnia, like basically the ex-Yugoslavia. They like talking, like Latin America very often. They talk a lot, but then when it comes to business, it's like, oh, I have something else, right? So the deal is that you have to make them commit. Chatty B, again, similar case, 21, 73%, a very high awareness rate ratio. Conversation rate, very, very high. But then the pipe is not that great. It's only 32%. So they talk a lot, again, but they do not close that well, right? So I saw it in different cases. So region 3 is the outlier. So the 70 is probably the best case here. NAS does not have a lot of conversations, but a lot of high quality conversations. So because the ICP is very tight, multi-threading. If LinkedIn doesn't work, they don't answer on LinkedIn. We do let's say an email. If email doesn't work, we try to engage them with a partner. If partner doesn't, we try to see them on an event, right? So we are using different engagement, different threads. Region 4, the bottleneck. So the awareness was 57%, lacked awareness, conversation 17%. Technically, so the awareness is okay, could be better. It's still okay. Anything probably above 55%. So awareness-wise, we do reach, but 70% means they don't want to talk to us, right? So it means that probably the outbound is generic. There is no response now. There is no urgency. So chatty conversation 52%. They do talk to us. The pipe is 22%. Do not qualify that much, but they're polite. They're too polite. Okay, so in this case, you would say they're polite in getting meetings with you, so they're chatty, but there is no exit criteria, so there is no second meeting gate. So you need to be able to qualify this sort of opportunities better. Next, best conversations, worst meetings. Right, that's when you get chatty people at the table and you talk, but you never. Conversation ratio 67%, 67%. But it was the lowest in the program. The number of opportunities we eventually could close. So usually it happens when you don't target enough buyer decision makers, like don't get enough persona across the buyer, and then it's like single threaded. You talk only with that person, and every year, by statistics, the decision maker tends to change, and because people just change roles. Okay, and in this case, if it's single threaded, that person is not going to buy an alone. That's why it's important to talk to all of these 12, 20, 30 people that are in the buyer. So if you look at the regions we had, so list 1 was too small, just to target accounts. The list was too small. You would need to expand the list add some more serviceable accounts to the target one to have a better grasp. Expand the list, that will be the fix. Volume wins. So region 2, it's on track, right? So you have many target accounts. It's just keep on giving us and we'll give the results. You would need headcount to scale this. It's quite steady. They have 66% of awareness. Conversations are cool. It's really good. You can take this as a template, region 6. Well, same playbook does not equal same result. So you have to be very unique to each market. So some markets you have to push on tighter ICPs. Other markets you need to push on more conversations. In my experience, let's say Eastern Europeans, let's say Central Europe, if you sell in Central Europe, in northern countries, they lack on conversation, but then the conversation pipe ratio is good. So you need to work on conversation more with them, okay? And vice versa. In southern regions like Latin America, Southern Europe, they tend to talk a lot, but then doesn't move to pipe. So you need to have more fact-based conversations and touch all of the decision makers in the buyer committee. If you're hearing too many yeses there, it means somebody will at some point will say a no. So you need to be smart and then figure out who's going to be the one who's a no, because they'll be too kind to tell you. Too kind or too political doesn't matter. So you need to keep an eye on all these decision makers and sort of manage their doubts before they get there. Awareness is mostly solved. Conversation is where variance begins in between these miles. Pipe is where the money is actually lost. So every region needs a different fix, different types of tools. I'm going to talk about bottlenecks now. The symptoms. So outbound goes out, responses are not right now. So region 4, it had like middle-sized awareness, mid-sized, and then bad conversation rate. What was the problem? Generic outbound, no triggers, no insight, no good signals. Rewrite around love letter structure, context, relevance, insight, CTA. Show them some love before you ask. Show them some value. What you can look at is the conversation ratio. Target 30% of increasing conversations within the quarter. This is how you can measure this. You can also look at this as a trigger-based message, and if you are interesting enough, make them curious and make them ask you for more, like tell me more kind of thing, and then push them into a meeting. Bottleneck 2, conversations don't become opportunities. Fucking great call, polite tone, but no second meeting booked. Data shows region 5 is responsible for this. The discovery, so what's the cause? Again, discovery feels like a demo pitching. There is no exit criteria, no multi-threading. You're talking to the same person through one channel. What can be solved? How can you solve this? One-page discovery template. Second meeting gate would be a multi-thread from call one. So getting in multi-threading right away. First of all, through different channels. Second of all, through different people inside the organization, because sometimes people can ghost you inside the organization. So the ratio moved. Conversation goes into qualified opportunity target. If it's over 40%, then goal achieved. So how do you have to do this? Make it more concrete. Next meeting on Thursday, 2 p.m. What came from security? This is how you move this meeting forward. You have to be very concrete in your follow-up. Bottleneck number 3. Replies that never become calls. The inbox is full of like, sure, sounds interesting replies, but there is no necessity in your product. So this is exactly pilot A. So 70 replies, but there is only 6 discoveries booked. No calendar link in the first reply, so you should put a calendar link in the first reply. No SLA, slow handoff in between like your team, your team and probably the next team there is. That would be I would say pre-sale, if you have a pre-sale team, or like solution engineers. Put a calendar link in your first reply, SLA 24 hours, async video for lukewarm reply. So use video, okay? Ratio moved from reply to discovery. The target is 20% plus. Quick win in this deck, ship it tomorrow. Be as fast as possible. The 10x cliff, right? So not always your serviceable accounts are your ideal accounts. So you have to play in between the two. Ideally, if your 155 accounts are tight, they're deep research, you have a buying committee there. The 1099 ones, there is thinner research, so you have to dig in deeper. What's the difference between target addressable accounts and serviceable? So first of all, they transfer from serviceable, they become target accounts. Their awareness of you is lower, the conversation is lower, their pipe is lower, so everything is low in terms of ratio. Why ABM works in this case is because personalization. Okay, so personalization alone is not magic, but if you concentrate your effort, help with getting 5x, 10x lift in every conversation you have. And there is a story here. Why does like the board or the CEOs in the company why do they get more money? It's not that they have more time or they have anything else, but they're more committed to the scope of the company, to what the company does. And that's why usually that is perceived as responsibility. So the more commitment you have to like a particular set of accounts, not everyone, that's what we're gonna have. Focus is not just nice to have, it's the entire basis of ABM. It's consistent, brutal, but this is true. If your ABM program has 1,000 accounts, then it's lead generation, not even demand generation, it's lead generation. It's not even ABM. So it's marketing with the target list. I am not, if you're expanding ABM to way too many accounts, then you're killing the motion completely. You don't need more volume, you don't need big clients. You rather the leaks where people leak out, where companies leak and they don't give you any outcome. We spoke about the conversion rates and what you should fix in each conversion. So more volume means like same leaks, okay? Same volume, but if you fix the leaks, you have the output that you want, 6x output, 4.6% output. In terms of the baseline, this is the data you have. If you run the math again, but you fix the leaks, this is what you get. You'll get better numbers or worse numbers depending on where you're at. So we did the few fixes that we had in our postmortems, and this is what we got. We got from reply discovery from 8.6 to 20%. We got from discovery to opt from 17 to 33%. Change within the department. You don't need to invest millions of dollars into more demand, more but just by fixing these things and then thinking about it strategically, you can get to where you want. Same type of funnel, same time amount of requests, but 4.6 times the opportunities. It's a big pipeline lift, which happens here. Just look inside your funnel. If you look at it, what could be improved without new headcount? You just work on the fixes for every ratio. You can get a quarterly uplift of 7 to 10 opportunities. You don't talk about more budget. You're talking about 4 ratios, not more, that you can work on to get to double-digit pipeline. Okay, Just fix your funnel. That's gonna be enough. My favorite part, love letters. So what is a love letter? I'm gonna show you in a second. I am sharing my screen. Come on. Let me see if there are any comments here. Okay, I think nobody commented. Okay. So with Lovable, I've built an example for a company. It's called Buyers Dev. So I took the strategic initiatives, put them into a landing page. Also created a LinkedIn post where I outlined what I can do for them, and it worked. I get a meeting with them. Same goes for like corporations or accounts where you go in that have millions of dollars in budget. You personalize the love letter for them, and then you get the results. You get the results that sorry, I was sharing. So first, you can do a love letter strategy where in the first one you're gonna have a LinkedIn post, and you're gonna do a DM, email, voice note, and a landing page. There is 4 parts in it. If one is missing, it's not a love letter. If you're gonna add if you're gonna add pieces to it, make sure it's working. If you're gonna add pieces to it, make sure that it's working. Okay. If one piece is missing, it's not a love letter. It's just a game you're willing to play to show some results, but they're not gonna come if you're not taking it as a campaign with a structure. 2 signal stacks that feed every letter. Engagement of letter and every triggers, like how we select accounts, right? Is like through the signal stacks, and the love letter helps us in multiplying that signal. So from program engagement, so you have scored card ratios, content interaction, event attendant. Do they come to our events, right? Comments on executive post, sequence replies. Do they, reply? In terms of account context, that's like deal stage history, won, lost patterns, vertical, buying committee, conversations before that, and existing relationships. So trigger events. So leadership hires, funds like product launches, merger and acquisition news, regulatory earnings shifts. So engagement does tell you who's warm. Account context tell you how to talk about your product or solution, and triggers tell you when to do that. What a love letter actually looks like. So it's a context, there is really relevance, and insight, and CTA. So your signals together with the insights you have about the company helps you create a good love letter. In my case that I showed you, Buyers Dev was hiring, so I used that to create. That was the signal, and I used that to create a strategy for them and deploy the love letters, which ended up in several meetings for me. 4 stages, 1 team. Stop thinking of marketing hands off to sales. We've discussed this already, and the fact is that account moves through stages and the team around it rotates. So marketing is going from cold to warm, the SDR from warm to conversation to opportunity, CS. But you have an account center. So in the account center, everyone should talk about these accounts. And if you're in marketing, let's say, and then you're talking about the conversation to opportunity stage, you still have to be involved there to help sales push the push the lead. Call to warm marketing completely owns that. Because there you'll have marketing, executive content, LinkedIn, thoughtful comments, targeted paid ads, webinars with named account. When you have the first signals, then it moves to warm. Warm to conversation. So the BDM is being helped by content and field marketing. Love letters, while love letters and video notes, personal invites, warm intros from champions, podcasts, webinars, anything like that. If replies, a good rule of thumb is that if you get a reply within 2 hours, they are interested, so we can move to the next level. But it has to be a two-way exchange: reply, book call, direct DM. And every reply gets a calendar link, so non-negotiable. You have to be there. Conversation to opportunity. So the owner is the account executive and SDR support. Yet there is marketing here involved as well. Structural discovery, value hypothesis, multi-thread from different mediums, and document the next step before hanging up. Exit criteria is qualified pain. There is a decision process. There is a second meeting with the named stakeholder. Opportunity to close. AE plus leadership plus customer success preview. So those are the owners. Close plan, business case in their language. Legal and security are already engaged. Executive are already sponsoring this to match to the economical buyer. How do they exit? Post-mortem on why we won. Every close feeds the next call list. If you don't capture why you won, you're leaving the biggest compounding assets in the program on the table. Think about that. 4 questions we answer every week. Prioritize accounts. How do we track engagement and intent? When do we push and when do we nurture? So lifecycle marketing has to be always on. Outstanding has to be on. In the cases, push has to happen where the engagement does not happen. How do we stop wasting time on that accounts? Very important for sales to prioritize the correct accounts. If the team is not able to answer this, then probably you don't have a very good ABM program or a sales marketing program. There is 3 tiers in terms of like companies you can target. Cluster ICP, they're vendor unaware, they fit your ICP. The goal is to get awareness, target their awareness ratio. Tier 2, future pipeline. Vendor aware, they know you as a vendor. You have the first signals. You have to map the buying committee and book conversations, and then you have to look into the conversation ratio. Active focus. In good engagement, there is a need in the product. The goal is book discovery to opportunity, account to pipe is the metric you need to look into this. Different signals, use both of them. So engagement is behavior you can cause yourself. That's more of a push. Content, event, replies, you have to own this as marketing. Intent, it's behavior that signals buying. So that's G2 traffic, solution searches, hires on the executive level, competitors are replatforming. Killer metric is the overlap. Accounts with both of these rising, they go to active focus. 3 modes count. So you have if the nurture, so push and nurture, right? So if they're both using love letter, multi-thread, executive to executive kind of notes, podcast invites, whatever, event invites and paid paid rappers, whatever you choose it to be. Nurture mode, engagement up, but intent is flat. Stay top of mind, build the awareness, but don't burn with too many asks. Okay, they're not in the buying mode yet. If none of them, neither push nor nurture is good, then move out of active focus after a full cycle. Stop burning rep time. Time box every stage or accounts will rot. If in 90 days any of your accounts do not show motion forward, then demote them to the previous level. That is about all the accounts, like active, future pipeline, cluster, ICP. Every conversation outcome logged against ratio fits. No ratio means no activity. Weekly review. Look at the 3 ratios by region or representative. Fix the lowest ratio first. Okay. The silent killer. Dead accounts eat rep time. Inflated denominator make ratios look worse than they are. Prune these accounts weekly. Rewrite local version outbound around triggers. Audit them as often as possible. We discussed this in the previous slide. On the second meeting, main name, specific quantified decision process steps, owners, second step name, booked, success criteria, what one looks like, very specific. You have to tighten the active focus list. If the active focus is in 60 days, then you have to demote them. If the accounts show signals in 7 days, then you have to hike them up. If the account has an executive hire, maybe G2 spike, anything like that, also promote them. So you need to figure out what motivate is active focus, right, for you. Again, most ABM programs do not fail because of bad messaging. They fail because nobody tracks the correct math. So the best teams who do ABM, I mean teams, I'm not saying sales and marketing, I'm saying revenue teams. They have these weekly 3 ratios that they track by segment. They track the broken ones first, and the easy ones, they treat accounts like assets, not leads. And all 3, they own the numbers. Overall love letters start the relationship. The math keeps the score, helps you make objective decisions. Operating system, your ABM operating system, AI, helped by AI, it does help you keep the score and how you do not lose and you win rounds. Thank you so much. This was the presentation. If you have any questions, do let me know. Okay, I don't have that many questions. Okay, cool. All right, so I don't have many viewers. I don't see any of them giving any questions. I hope you guys like the session. Feel free to answer any, give me any questions if you have any. I hope this was useful. I'm going to be sharing this on YouTube, and there's going to be snippets about it. Hit me up if you need a presentation. Thank you again so much, and I hope you have a great day ahead and a great April. All right, take care. Bye.